You're tuning in to Barski-Lyn Adventures. Welcome to our little corner of the bookish community. Hello, beautiful people of the bookish persuasion. Thank you so much for joining us today as we talk about reading, writing, and publishing. I'm C.H. Lynn. With me, as always, is my wondrous co-host,
Tracy Barski.
We're readers, writers, mothers, and wives, and we are here today discussing Bowker?
Sure.
How do you pronounce it?
I don't say it.
Well,
I probably would say Bowker.
That's one way to handle it. It is spelled, where is it?
Bowker.
Bowker is how it is spelled. This is going to be a good episode for the new babies, the new authors out here who are not entirely sure what steps are necessary, what next steps are. I'm trying to find this email that I got from them so we can talk about it.
So we can talk about shenanigans.
There it is.
Shenanigans. All the shenanigans.
Yeah. So, we've discussed how Amazon gives you a free barcode, as does Ingram.
So, AKA, you don't need to buy barcodes.
That's correct.
But they offer them at Bowker in addition to your ISBNs. They're not super expensive, but you don't need them.
Oh, I actually even meant ISBNs. Amazon will provide an ISBN for your book, and so will Ingram Spark.
Yeah.
But they won't be the same ISBN number, which will make it really complicated if you're trying to publish one book. You don't want to have multiple ISBN numbers for one book. That doesn't make sense. And if you're like us and you plan on publishing truly an impossible number of books, you need ISBN numbers. You need a different one for each format. So
that could potentially run you 4 ISBNs per book.
Yeah.
If you're talking ebook, paperback, hardcover, and audio.
Yes. Oh, I need to assign an ISBN number to my Song of the Deep audio.
Yes, you do.
That's exciting.
So, because Bowker is a monopoly.
Yeah. This is for...
They can charge up the wazoo for ISBNs.
This is for Americans. This is for people in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
It's for people in the United States of America, because the rest of the world has different ways of doing it. I don't know what those ways are. But apparently they're less expensive.
We also don't know if they do have different ways, but we're covering our butts.
I know that they do, because I have some author friends in other countries who are like, sorry, you pay how much?
Yeah.
And I'm like, welcome to the United States. This is what our lives are. Okay. So Bowker, you log in, create an account, and then log into your account. And it's got a bunch of different options. It's got a bunch of different packages that you can get. Some of them include barcodes. We are telling you right now, in our experience, not necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessary, and a waste of money, because they do charge, I think it's $25 per barcode. So even if you only have one for your paperback and hardcover,
if you're gonna drop that kind of money, I mean, obviously once or twice is one deal, but when you're doing that a lot, I mean, that's a lot of money.
It is. Yeah, so I'm trying to pull up, I should have had this already ready to go, but it already knows that I've bought all of my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Buy ISBNs. I'm going to list off some prices for you guys, just so you have an idea of the ridiculousness that this is. One ISBN number. So one book, not even in all formats. $125.
Mm-hmm.
Don't turn off the podcast. We're not done. It's not just you're screwed. It's not the answer. Yeah. That's not what we're trying to say.
But that's a terrible deal.
That's a terrible deal. That is so much money. 10 ISBN numbers, $295. So we've gone from over $100 for one to $29 a piece.
Yeah.
Also really expensive.
But considering it's still very expensive, but considering how many ISBNs you need for one book.
Assuming you publish the way that we do. Yes. Right? Because some people...
I mean, if you don't do your ebook anywhere else but Amazon, it's less of an
you
issue.
don't require one for KU.
you still have to do at least a couple per title.
Yeah.
That gives you, 5 at the most books that you can publish with your 10 ISBNs, and you're out $300.
Yeah, insane. Then we jump up to 100 ISBNs.
This is what we did.
For each because you can't share them. That's kind of a bummer. But anyway, 100 ISBNs for $575. So that's $6 an ISBN. That's a pretty darn good price. And we've both already used like over 20 ISBNs because 3, 6, 9, 12, 18. Yeah, well over 20.
I've published 6 books. You've published many. 1, 2, 3.
What was that? Many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Don't count.
Not counting Love is Murder because you used your ISBNs. Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot of books.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. And then we get to 1,000, which you've got to have disposable income for that one. I
mean, it's still... It's $1,500 for 1,000 ISBNs.
Yeah.
That's $1 an ISBN.
Yeah. That's what the vanity publishers
we may end up getting to that point.
Yeah, someday.
But I think for me, it would probably just be another 100 ISBNs because I think it'll take a long time for me to hit 100. But I mean,
yeah, it'll take a few years.
Yeah,
it'll probably by 2030 we will need more, if not sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you scroll down a little bit. This is the first page, the Buy ISBNs page. Then you scroll down a little bit, and it has Buy ISBNs with barcodes. 10 ISBNs with 5 barcodes and a QR code is $395. Please don't do that, babies. You do not need to do that.
Also, you can get QR codes for free.
Yeah, there are plenty of places to get QR codes. There are places where you can get a subscription to have QR codes that last forever. Because most of the free ones, that specific code only lasts a certain amount of time, which is that's fine. Doesn't matter. Yeah, there are other places to get that, and you don't need barcodes. So this email that I got is Self-Publisher Prime, a money-saving publishing package, and it's 10 ISBNs, 1 ebook creator doc, which they're saying has your Word document professionally converted into an ebook, and 2 barcodes.
Unnecessary.
So the kind of
we talked about formatting softwares.
Yes.
Your formatting software will have an ebook formatting option. You don't need to pay for that.
Yeah. This is low-key Boker trying to become a vanity publishing place.
Yeah.
I imagine covers are going to be next. I imagine they're going to do AI generated covers. I'm predicting that 2 years from now, that's what they're going to do.
Mark it down, folks.
Write the date and time. Yeah, it's just, I mean, there's this email that I have is saying it's a $500 value. And it's only $395. And I'm like,
that makes no sense.
Such a ripoff. And for authors who don't know, for indie authors who are brand new to this, who go onto Bowker and wait, I had that moment when I first bought my ISBNs.
The number of people we've had ask
I need barcodes?
About the barcodes. It's significant. I remember when I was doing it and I had already published.
Yeah, you were like, do I need to get
books? And I was like, wait, do I need these barcodes if I'm not doing the only Amazon?
Yeah.
And no, you don't.
So here's where the difference is, right? Because I think the confusion comes from people thinking the barcode is the ISBN number.
Right.
It is not. The barcode is literally there so that when a price scanner scans it, they can see how much it is. Or when it's not even a price scanner, the little things that they have at the bookstores, to see how many they have in stock or to see what the book is, etc. That just gives them the information that you put in about the book. So let me pop on here, and we're going to go to Hope and Lies, the Abradia series, book 1. Another little side note for all of our authors out there, your title must be exact. If you are part of a series, you've got to figure out the way you want to do it ahead of time and do it the exact same way for Amazon, Ingram Spark, and Bowker and your ISBNs. Because if there is something different, for example, Amazon will have more than one of the book up because one of them's not the same as the other. So my book title is Hope and Lies, and then the series title is the Abradia series, or the subtitle is the Abradia series book 1, and that's how I did it on Amazon and Ingram Spark as well. We've got our medium and format, print, paperback, subjects and genres. That's tricky. Just go with your gut. You guys, what did you do for the alternate chronicles?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I
Fiction something.
Yeah, I think I did. I don't even remember what the categories are. They have really weird, confusing categories, so it makes it really hard.
The categories are not the same on any of the sites.
Nope. And they don't have all of the options for things. I think I had romance, mystery, and or sci-fi. I don't even remember.
Those are fitting. And then you have authors and contributors. Me, I wrote it. And you can do things like editor and illustrator and forward by and blah, blah, blah. And I don't put any of that on my Bowker stuff. Bowker stuff. Maybe someday I will, but at the moment, I don't think it's necessary. And then you do your publisher. If you are the publisher, you put your name or your pen name. I put Horizon Publishing because someday I would like to publish. Like, I have a lot of different genres, and I have a cute little logo for it. And it's the name of the company my dad owned when I was a kid. It's Horizon Video Productions. So I wanted to utilize that for a little sentimentality. And then publication date. Title status is an important one. You want it to be active record. On demand is an option, and a lot of us would probably choose that because technically our books are print on demand, but that's not what you want for this. You want active record because that means that your book is actively available for people to purchase. And then you put your target audience. If you are writing a book that is for grown-up people, it's trade.
That was a hard one. That confused me because I'm like, there's not an option here.
There's adult education, college audience, family, juvenile, second language, upper secondary, young adult audience, which is what people writing young adult books should choose, and trade.
So you're like, I'm not writing about trade.
Yeah. There's like, they buy things, but it's not about the commerce.
That was confusing to me.
And then you set your dollar amount, and you put that up there. I think I already said publication date. Your dollar amount for Bowker is what you will probably be using on your other sites, but it doesn't have to match. Because you're not, if you got the barcode through Bowker, it does have to match because the barcode has your price.
Yes.
But otherwise it doesn't. Anyway, that's the rundown, and then gives you an ISBN number. And when you go to hit publish on all of those different places, I suggest copy pasting the ISBN number in so you don't mess up a number. And bada bing, bada boom, you're done. That's all they wrote, folks. It's that simple. And the reason to go through it with you guys and to talk about it a little bit is mainly because there are a lot of different options. It is confusing. We already did it and we're confused. So now you don't have to be confused when you go do it.
Yeah.
And that's, yeah. Do you have anything else on this topic? This is an insanely short episode. We gotta add something else. We gotta talk about more.
I will say this. So, we talked about this a little bit before. I published just on Amazon initially and did not own my own ISBN. So I purchased them later, and you can do this.
Yes.
And then assign them to your books and change your books on Amazon. So what I had to do was unpublish my books from Amazon, republish them, and all I had to do was contact Amazon customer support and have them link all of my reviews back to my books, because that's the thing is it's scary if you unpublish and then republish, then they're not linked to your reviews that maybe you worked really hard to get.
Yeah.
Which it was
don't want to lose your reviews.
Before I even did anything, I checked with Amazon to make sure.
And how do you go about that, Tracy? Because a lot of people have trouble contacting customer support. So what is your preferred method for speaking to Amazon customer support?
We've established that I'm not a phone conversationalist. I use the chat option because I don't like to talk to people on the phone. It gives me stressies.
Yeah.
So I do the live chat.
Yes.
And oftentimes these people are perhaps not American, but they all are very polite and they're super helpful I've had such good luck with them.
Yeah.
Ingram, I will say, is not as helpful. And they don't have a live chat option. Theirs is like a back and forth email conversation.
And the email responses that I got, because I've emailed customer service about Damon Goes to Peru, we had a lot of trouble getting the cover right for that.
I still am having issues with my...
Are you?
Yeah, they still haven't pulled the ebooks from Amazon. And I just need to contact them again and be like, excuse me, sir.
Yeah. Well, so the emails that I got from Ingram Spark were completely automated messages. Mm-hmm. And just like...
I think they have like an AI thing that's like, oh, this keyword and this keyword. I will answer this question. And we're like, that's not what I was
That's not the question.
That's what it definitely feels like. So on Amazon, it definitely feels...
You're actually talking to a person.
You can usually tell most of the time that English is their second language.
Yes.
Or at the very least, not their first language, but they're really polite and they work really well with you. And so all I had to do, I checked with them first before I did anything because I was nervous.
Yes, fair.
And so I asked, okay, how does this work? And they said, unpublish your books and then republish them with, like, you have to re-upload the entire thing and put in all, and they're like, keep all of that information exactly the same. And then once you get it all set up, then you hit publish on everything. As soon as they're live on Amazon, contact us. We will link them all. And it's a really quick process. Mm-hmm. Like usually, sometimes they're like, oh, it could take up to a day or two or whatever. But my everything was linked immediately.
Yeah. I think about 80 to 90% of the time, the speed with which Amazon works for indie authors is pretty fast in terms of like response time to the email questions or like if you're doing the live chat, how long it takes for something to get handled. Because a lot of the times in live chat for me, I tell them the problem. They're like, okay, we're giving this to this department. They will email you in 2 to 3 days, which is fair.
Yeah, you've had some unique issues that
I've had some unique issues. That's my life.
I had linking issues before, and I contact them, and they're like, oh, we'll take care of that.
Yeah, which is, I actually have a linking issue I need to contact them about also. Yeah, so linking issues... Let's explain that real quick. If you've got multiple versions of your book,
ebook, paperback, hardcover,
they should all have one set of reviews, right? So it should be one picture of your book with the different format options and all of the reviews for every format right there. So you've got
all on the same page. So if you look up her name or the name of her book on Amazon, it should show. If you looked up Hope and Lies, it should have one.
Yes, just option. One Hope and Lies button.
You click on that, and then while you're on the page for that book, it should have your all of your options for the formats in one spot. Yes. Whereas you've had linking issues. I've had linking issues where the paperback and the ebook aren't connected to each other, so they're listed in two separate places.
Yes, and which splits the reviews. And most of us authors
still have that issue right now because. Ingram's ebook, all my ebooks were not linking to my paperbacks on Amazon from Ingram, which doesn't make sense. They were like, it's an Amazon issue. Amazon says it's their issue because they're the Ingram ebooks, and the Ingram paperbacks linked just fine with all of my stuff. So clearly it's an Ingram issue with their ebooks. So I have on every single one of my books except for one or two, well, partly because I did Love Undercover
later
in KU, so I didn't put an ebook on Ingram for that one. So that one, I don't have that issue. I think every single other one, it has been, but because most of them, except for my third one, were put on there later, no one sees the Ingram ebook ones, so they're kind of like...
At the very bottom. Yeah. Well, and so the main issue with this, right, beyond it's maybe frustrating or confusing for readers, is that your reviews get split up.
Yes. I have 7 on one version and 11 on the other one, and that could potentially be 15 or 16 on one.
And as most of us know, reviews are vital, especially on Amazon. There are certain benchmarks where the company itself starts to push your books and promote it to readers. 50 is the first benchmark for reviews. So especially when you're just starting out, having multiple copies of the book with reviews in different places, which is what Lacey Goes to Tokyo has right now, is problematic for your goals and for like what you're striving for. So yeah, the chat function is helpful for Ingram Spark. Again, just really make sure that the titles are exactly the same. That was my issue because I also had the linking issue with Hope and Lies when I first published it, because one of them had the subtitle as the Abradia series, book 1, and one of them had like the series. It was all over the place.
Well, and it's hard to make sure everything lines up perfectly with that because Amazon and Ingram are different.
Yeah, they ask different questions.
Yeah, so I've had issues with that because the way they have it listed and whatever. Because Amazon, you establish the series and then the order the books are in that series, and then you don't add anything else.
Yeah.
Whereas on Ingram, that's not how it works.
You'd have it's part of the subtitle. They don't have a separate thing of like, is it? You can't like have a series list.
Yeah. Whereas Amazon links your series all together.
Yeah.
And so it just makes it complicated.
Yeah. It's a wee more complicated. And then on Ingram Spark, you're also dealing with wholesale pricing, returns, because Ingram Spark isn't just a one spot shop like Amazon. People are buying it directly from Amazon, and Ingram is they're starting to do that
offering that, but they didn't before.
And they still offer to every other distributor, which is why you have to take these extra steps so that Barnes & Noble can get your book at a wholesale discount. And I think we've talked about that. Do not do 50%. That is completely unnecessary. Do the lowest wholesale discount possible so that you're still making more than 50 cents a book. If you ever run into a bookstore where they're like, your book was just too expensive for us to buy, then be like, okay, well, I'm going to go somewhere else.
Yep. Barnes & Noble has never, the ones that we've done.
Which I've done them in 3 different states.
We've never had an issue with the store saying anything about the wholesale discount.
No, it's never been a problem. It's a rough time out there sometimes, folks. This part of the process is probably the most mundane and yet very detail oriented.
It's a lot of data entry and
keeping
track of everything like that and making sure everything is in the right spots. So this is like the less fun side of it, in that I think a lot of writers are probably like, I didn't anticipate this, because you think, I hired somebody to edit, I hired somebody to do my formatting and my cover and all of that stuff, and then now you have to do these little administrative tasks.
Are there people who do this bit? Because I've yet to see that promoted anywhere. I'm sure that there are. But
I would love to do this. I mean, all of this stuff, I even was telling my friend this weekend who has written books, but she never planned to publish or anything. I was like, I'll make you covers. I will help you get it on there. And she's like, I don't want to have to do all of the marketing and stuff. I was like, okay, then don't. But I was like, I can help. It's not always intentional. I was playing with this.
No, I know.
But I can help do some of the stuff, set things up on Amazon. Actually, a fellow author who, it's funny because she's published several books, but I don't know if she's had other people do it for her, but I walked her through the process of getting her book on Amazon. It was like a special edition cover and all of this stuff. And she just didn't remember how to do all of it, which I don't know why, how, what.
Some people's brains are set up to do this data entry, and some people's are not.
Now that I've done it, like the first time I did it on Amazon was, even though Amazon's super straightforward and easy, it was still a learning process. Once I did it, though, I have it down pat. Ingram, I had your help because you had done it.
Yes.
And it's a little more complicated with Ingram.
I still forget how to do it on Ingram.
That's because Ingram is confusing.
And I cannot get the ebook for Truth and Fury on to Ingram still. I need to contact my cover artist because the file that I have the ebook cover as is not the correct file. And then he sent me the correct file, like file type, like PNG versus JPEG. And Ingram still didn't like it for whatever reason.
Because
and so
they're difficult.
Because they're difficult. So I need to contact them. It comes down to a couple different things. One of them is do your research.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the bigger one is take your time.
Mm-hmm.
I think the bigger one is don't lock yourself into I have to have this released next week. I don't have time to make sure all the T's are dotted and the I's are crossed.
That's a really important aspect too that I didn't realize when I was publishing my first book, and other people have come to realize as well, that it takes a little bit. If you want your book to release on the 22nd, you can't be doing it on the 21st.
Nope. Or the 19th. Or the 15th.
Yeah.
You want to give yourself
You need time to make sure everything is in place and set up, because when you assign your ISBN, it has to be approved. You can put it into your documents and all of those things, but it
takes a little while for it to approve.
Yeah.
Amazon
and officially be connected.
Yes. Amazon usually takes less time than Ingram Spark, but they still say it can take up to 72 hours for your book to go live.
Yeah.
And once it's live, it can take up to 72 hours for it to be visible for readers.
Mm-hmm.
For Ingram Spark, it can take anywhere from 3 to 7 days, and sometimes longer. It took longer for my second Spooky Cat book. It was like 3 weeks that it was sitting waiting to approve. And I could have reached out and said something, but I had time. I wasn't in a rush for it. Yeah, and then we go to if you want to get physical copies. That's even longer.
Getting physical copies, and especially if you're getting a lot. Like if you're getting 5, usually they'll get it to you within a week.
Amazon especially will get it to you very quickly. But if you're trying to get a proof copy of your hardcover via Ingram Spark, it's going to take a week to get it. And then if there's anything wrong with it, you have to make those changes and do the approval process.
Them to approve it, and then
yes,
yeah, it's a thing. So if you have all of your steps, everything looks right, you know what it looks like when it's printed, and you're happy with it, it still will take several days before it's available. So set yourself up for success, and that's also get all of that stuff ready and have it done at least a month before your release date, if you can manage that.
If it's possible.
Because proof or author copies take a long time to get to you.
Yeah.
Like your proof copy will get there within a few days from Amazon.
Amazon does not prioritize as much as we've been building them up a lot. There's some issues. Mm-hmm. As much as they prioritize readers getting books within, 2 to 3 days. That is not how it works for author copies. Mm-mm. They assume that you don't need them for a very long time.
Yeah.
So
if you have a release party.
Yeah, a book launch party coming up. Give yourself I just purchased all of the books. So today is the 8th. On Saturday? Nope, on Friday. On the 5th, I purchased all of my books for the book bash that is happening on May 4th, a full month in advance. Mm-hmm. And they say that they'll get to me around the 18th to 20th. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's accurate. I think I'll get some of them. I ordered,
and keep in mind the number of author copies you're ordering makes a difference too. Because
yes, obviously.
I ordered, what did we order, 25?
Yeah, Love is Murder.
That one, so I ordered all of the ones that I would need for the bash, which was not very many because I had quite a bit still. But I ordered
of your other books.
The end of March.
Yeah.
Probably the last week of March. I got Love Undercover early last week, which was really fast, but I only ordered
5.
5 or I may have ordered 10 actually.
Well, you still had
but
some.
It's because it's a new release. I think they had some already printed and ready.
That makes sense.
Because I'd had a lot of orders. But Love is Murder, we ordered 25, and I'm not getting them until middle of this week, if not later. Yeah. And I only ordered 3 alternate ends. They're not coming till the end of the month.
Jeez.
Supposedly. They always give you a window as well.
Yes.
So just keep all of that in mind.
And the hardcovers especially, I don't know what it's going to look like in a month and a half when this releases, but right now I have heard from multiple authors, right now being, again, April 8th, that hardcovers via Amazon are
those
impossible.
Those take a really, really long time.
3 months
I've
to
done
get
them.
author copies.
I have not had the 3-month
yeah.
issue, but I've only ever ordered a couple at a time because usually I order my own personal copies of my books in hardcover for displaying and whatnot, and then my brother's girlfriend likes them in hardcover. My proof copies, because Amazon outsources their hardcovers, so you can't, if you order an Amazon published hardcover, it will still take a while because it's not on Prime, because it is not an Amazon product.
Yeah.
So, but then the author copies of those, they take at least a month, if not longer.
So
I think
long.
6 weeks was maybe the fastest I ever got one.
And so there's the aspect of make sure you order ahead of time. If you're ordering hardcover copies, I suggest ordering them through Ingram Spark.
For your author copies.
For your author copies. Because, well, first of all,
Amazon doesn't do dust jackets.
Amazon doesn't do dust jackets.
They don't do
fancy stuff.
The fancy inner cover art and things that are really exciting to a lot of readers. Most of my genres are not hardcover fancinesses.
Our newest one is, though. Unborn
because, most
going to be
people
fancy,
who read
folks.
suspenseful romance and mystery and stuff, they're not interested in hardcovers.
Yeah, thrillers don't usually do well in hardcovers. Thriller action stuff is usually paperbacks.
So you want, if you're doing a fantasy, absolutely. Sci-fi can be that way. Our new series will be hardcovers with designs and stuff, because we know that's a genre that people like to collect.
Yes.
Yeah, books.
People like to have, with or without the dust jacket, very beautiful covers of these, and honestly, larger books. Like thicker longer books, longer books do well with hardcovers as well. But we have a mutual friend of ours who ordered all of her books for her book launch, and it was a very stressful time for her. She got them all through Ingram Spark and didn't realize the shipping was going to take so long. And you have to pay for shipping, and it's expensive. Yeah. And you can rush the shipping and the printing.
And then it'll be more expensive.
And it doesn't change the date by much. It'll maybe change it by 7 to 10 days, which could be a lot if you're in on a time crunch, but in the grand scheme of things, that's not worth $300. If you're
in that position, what I did for my debut novel when I found out.
This is good advice, y'all.
What I did was I marked my book down as cheap as it would go.
On Amazon.
On Amazon, sorry. On Amazon, I marked it down to the lowest it would go, so I wouldn't earn any money from those sales. But because I have Amazon Prime, I marked it down to that low, ordered them as a customer, and got them within 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, did the Amazon Prime shipping on your own books.
Honestly, it wouldn't have cost me that much more, because you have to pay shipping when you're ordering your author copies. And so I was like, I paid a little bit more, but not enough to be really bothered by the price.
Yeah. And author copies, for anybody who doesn't know, hasn't looked into it yet, author copies are generally pretty inexpensive. It's the cost of printing. They're not trying to charge you the royalty percentage that they would have gotten if you had sold it through them. But it does take longer. You do have to pay shipping.
Yeah. So I was looking at, I think I paid, normally my books were just shy of $5 for an author copy. And I think I paid $7 with Prime. And then I didn't pay for shipping, and then I got them really quickly. Whereas, I saved a couple of bucks on author copies, but then I paid $10 to $15 in shipping, depending on how many you have, because of the weight. So then you're kind of...
It's a fluctuation. It's something to play with and to look at.
If you're desperate and you need them really fast, I recommend definitely doing what I did. Because
it's a good way to get them quickly.
Yeah.
Get them quickly, and also...
but if you can avoid that, please do, and plan ahead.
There is a difference between, I'm just going to pop this in real quick before we wrap it up here. The Song of the Deep proof that I got, was such a different quality than the author copies
yes.
that I ended up with.
Really?
Yeah. All of the interior images, I made really cute little chapter headers for each chapter is different. It's a short story. I wanted to spice it up a little bit with something cute and fun. They were all blurry on the proof copy, and the like chapter breaks were a little blurry. It was not the highest quality of printing, which I get because it's just.
But it's also annoying because you're looking at it to make sure it looks right.
To make sure it looks right. So I ended up, it looked fine, but not great. And so I ordered a couple of author copies, and they came, and they were crisp and clean and gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And
we also
like,
have
why?
heard there can be a variation in the look of an author, or not even just an author copy, but copies of books from Ingram versus Amazon.
For sure.
Can look very different because Amazon outsources their printing to a lot of different printers, Ingram being one of them. They use Ingram, but they also use other sources, whereas Ingram uses themselves. Yeah, unless you're going traditional publishing and you're using a publishing company that has their own printer, your books are going to look different. Mm-hmm. Heart and Parallel looks the most different of all of ours because it is the lightest color cover. It's basically white. So it goes anywhere from a very pale shade of blue to a very pale shade of yellow. Yep. And it spans that whole stretch. And if somebody has one copy, it doesn't matter because it looks beautiful. But when they're next to each other, when you have a dozen on the shelf, you're like, why is the lighting weird? But I've had a significant difference even in some of my other ones. Yeah. I mostly in alternate end. I think I've had a pretty wide variety of tones. Like sometimes, because it's blue, it's supposed to be blue, and sometimes it'll look really teal. Or like a dark purple. Obviously teal versus the blue. So you'll have some variation there. It really doesn't matter except when they're right next to each other. So. Yeah, and if that's the case, then when you take beautiful pictures for social media, just take the ones that stand out a little bit more off the shelf before you take the picture. Yep. I think maybe that will be our next episode is a true deep dive into cover creation, because talking about how to make the spine still look good with that variation in printing, talking about annoying as hell. Talking about genre-specific covers, talking about marketing aspects. We'll deep dive into that next time, I think, folks. Hopefully this has been a helpful conversation for you all. For those of you who don't know and are not on our Patreon, if you head over there, we are currently reading through Love is Murder. So you will get a very inexperienced and fun version of an audiobook. We delete some of the bloopers, but not all of them. Yeah, you get pulled out of the story every now and then when I try to say baguette instead of boutique. Boutique. I don't know what was on. I was on something that day. French. She was on French. I was on French. They were both French words, though. That's what I'm saying. That's why I was on French. Okay. Yep. It's a really fun time over on our Patreon. You can just basically get to listen to the entire audiobook before we take the time to turn it into an actual audiobook. We also, again, have Song of the Deep over there, and we're going to have some more stuff. But yeah, head over and check out the epilogue. Thank you so much for being with us today. We really appreciate it. It's been really fun. Tracy needs more coffee. Ask us questions in the comments. Tell us we're pretty. There it is. I was waiting for that. All right, folks. Thank you so much. We love you. Goodbye. Thank you so much for tuning in. For more and to check out our after show, The Epilogue, head over to patreon.com/Barski-Lyn Adventures. We'll see you next time.